Well, hello there, friend, and welcome back to the Unfuck Your Biz with Braden podcast. As always, it's your host, Braden, and today is a little bit of a different episode. If you tuned in last week, I went through, what did I call that episode? I think just profit reports are back. So I did not go through my profit report, but I introduced to you the concepts of profit reports for those of you who did not hear my profit report episodes that I used to do a little over a year ago. But I'm kind of continuing that theme this week and talking about the challenge that I recently did. So I shared about this on email, sent several emails a couple weeks ago now, or last week, about 2 weeks ago, and also on social media. So if you didn't hear about that, here's the gist, like the rundown. I almost said read, I listened to the audiobook of We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. Great book, highly recommend. And towards the end of the book, Rachel gives everyone what she calls her 10K in 10 days challenge. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? So you do a challenge, you try to make $10,000 in 10 days. That looks different for everyone. You know, some people, she said, will sell some personal belongings, offer some one-off services, maybe like pick up babysitting, like all sorts of stuff, right? You get scrappy and figure out, how can I make $10,000 in 10 days? So I was listening to that and it kind of got me inspired, which was interesting, right? Because I teach about money, I teach about taxes. Like, it's always fascinating to me when I listen to other people's audiobooks or read books on money, and they really inspire me to do something that might be outside of my comfort zone. And the 10K in 10 days challenge certainly was it. Another reason why this really piqued my interest is because, and I will share this more on my profit report, my goal that I'm striving towards is having $30,000 months in my business. So not there yet. It's somewhere that I hope to be within like 1 to 2 years from now. But I've kind of done the breakdown of my monthly expenses, the amount that I want to save, and that's going to be my goal. You might be listening to this thinking that's, well, depending on where you are, that might not be a ton of money, but for a lot of people, that's probably going to sound like that's a lot. But I've determined, if we're operating at 70% profit margin, then about 9,000 of that is going to go to business expenses. And then a good chunk of that is going to go to tax. So that leaves take-home pay of about $15,000 a month. And then a good chunk of that is going to go towards my massive pile of student loan debt and also savings for retirement. So 30K might sound like a really big month, but once you figure all those factors in, you're not, like necessarily swimming in cash, certainly living a comfortable lifestyle. But that's the number that I've chosen that I've worked towards. So I figure most months have about 30 days. If I'm able to do 10K in 10 days, that would set me up well from a mindset perspective that I'm capable of hitting that target. So 10K in 10 days has put you on track for a $30,000 month. I encourage you to kind of think about your own finances this way as well. Like, what are your long-term goals? How much do you need to make each month in order to pay your household expenses? But above and beyond that, save for retirement, pay your taxes. Like, what are your financial goals, your dreams, your vacations, and what is it going to take to get there? And then it helps for me to break it down. Like, how much do I need to be making per week or per day? Because sometimes when we think about a number of like $30,000 per month, or, 100 and maybe like $200,000 per year, what have you, $300,000 per year, that seems like a massive goal. But when we think about what does it take to get there in a week, and is that something that we could do now? Like, if it's just a 1 week sprint, obviously, I don't think I'm going to be able to do 10K in 10 days every single 10 days, or I would already be doing that. But in a sprint, it's doable now, which tells me that with some strategic planning, I can do it in the future. So that was a little bit of background. Another reason why I really wanted to do this challenge is, to be perfectly frank with you, I was at a point in my business where I needed the money. Things have been slow the past few months. It's been really, really wacky with COVID and the industry that I'm in. A lot of people that I normally would work with are super busy, so they're just not investing in education, which is the primary thing that I sell and provide. And before that, last year was really weird because a lot of people just did not have money themselves, which is totally understandable. So I am making some big changes and pivots coming this fall. I'm going to be launching a new program, a very exciting program, which I will not spill all the beans on just yet. But in order to launch that, I needed to hire a few contractors in my business to gear up towards that. And I wanted to be able to hire those contractors without going into debt, like credit card debt in particular. I already had a little bit of a credit card balance, which I was not super happy about. So the other big motivation for this 10K in 10 days challenge was to make just enough money to pay off the few $1,000s I had on my credit card, and also to pay those contractors. Now, I'm going to be recording an episode after this about my credit card situation, and that'll be released next week, so you can stay tuned for that. But as you're listening, I also want to note that credit card debt is very personal. For me, like having $3,000 on my credit card, that's a lot of money, but I kind of always know in the back of my mind that I can do a promotion like this and pay it off like rather quickly. So I think when it comes to putting money on a credit card, it's not something that I advise, but always think about your own ability to pay something back, right? When I was making $12 an hour retail, it would take me like months and months and months to pay off that kind of credit card balance. So I simply just did not, at that point in time, I did not allow myself to have credit cards. So we want to think about our debt in those terms as well. All right, so breakdown with this 10K in 10 days challenge. You might be wondering very eagerly, did Braden make his goal? I don't know why I'm speaking in the third person now, but the short answer is no, not quite, but I got very close. So I was happy. I finished my 10 days in the challenge with $9,741 in revenue. So I was really just about $260 off, $259, I think, to be exact. And that was pretty close. Like, I think the next day I ended up, like, if I did 10K in 11 days challenge, then I would have been able to check that box off. But that's okay. I was really close and I was happy with that. So to give you some breakdown of how I did this, the first thing is you got to get kind of scrappy, right? Send some promo emails. If you're on my email list, maybe you were like, Jesus, Braden, why are you emailing me so much? But I sent 5 different emails during those 10 days to promote various services. The first couple things I did, to be perfectly honest with you, didn't really get any interest. So it was a little scary at first. I didn't think I was going to do too well, but then I got the idea for a new offer, which was the LLC in a day offer. If you're new to the universe of just online business or business in general, you might be wondering, what is an offer? When we use the word offer, or when I use it, it's just basically anything that you're selling. Like if you're a wedding photographer, an offer could be like one of your packages, right? You're going to include this, this, and this, and this for this additional fee. Like that's an offer. So I have not been doing one-on-one offers in quite a while. I have not been promoting them. So I thought I would bring them back just for this challenge. And I got the idea to offer an LLC in a day. And this actually stemmed from when I was more actively promoting my law firm. I did something I called DIY Llc Formation, which now that I reflect back on it, that sounds way less fun. You're like, oh, you're thinking, oh, I still have to do all of this. But what that was, it was a 4-hour meeting at the time, like at my actual office, and we would fill out all your applications, submit some of them. Other ones, like we had to fill out paper forms. I put them in addressed envelopes, put a Post-it note on each one and told people when to mail them in. It's gotten more sophisticated since then, but I basically took that idea and thought, let's do it on Zoom. I'll call it LLC in a day, and we'll go through all of these steps on one call. So I put that out there and do the universe via my email list, and got 2 people who were interested in that. So it was $1,000. So that was $2,000 towards the goal. Very exciting. I think I've already done both of those client calls, which was great. So one of them, the person already had an LLC. So we were just checking to make sure everything was done correctly. The other person, we actually formed both of the LLCs on the call. We filed 2 EINs. We did 2 operating agreements, 2 sets of meeting minutes, the whole thing. And then I gave her an action list of all the things that she needed to do after the call. So that was fantastic. And then a couple more days in, I was like, all right, I really thought LLC in a day was going to be like the ticket. I thought everyone was going to love it, right? And people were interested, but I had the idea of, okay, well, let's try a similar concept, but do tax in a day. And tax in a day is a little bit trickier because with your tax systems, that can mean a whole lot of things to different people. But in my mind, it means let's figure out what you need to be paying in quarterly taxes. Let's get a system to do that, how much you should be paying yourself. It really has a lot more it's a lot more than just tax. It's like the whole money side of the business. So I put that out there and got a lot more interest. People love that option. And during my 10K in 10 days challenge, really just the last like 5 days of that, I had 5 people sign up for the tax in a day offer. I've already had one of those calls, I believe, and we have another one tomorrow. So that's going to be really awesome. The first tax in a day call that I had was great. We looked into some sales tax issues, set up a QuickBooks account, figured out how much this person should be saving for taxes. She already had an S Corp, so we got her on payroll, signed up with Gusto, all that good stuff. So all together, I had 7 of these VIP day signups. So that was $7,000 of my $9,700. The other portion came about half from doing one-on-one strategy sessions, so just 1 hour paid consultations. And then I have a membership that I run in the background and all my online courses on my website. So it kind of came through sales with that. So that is the numbers breakdown. What I learned during this process. So it was very educational. It kind of like got me back to my roots of working one-on-one with people, which was awesome. And I think the biggest takeaway I had was that clearly people were willing to pay for these VIP days. They were not all that difficult to sell, to be honest. And that tells me that people want to get things done quickly, especially when it comes to legal and tax stuff. Like I understand that a lot of you, you're not going to like nerd out on this. You don't want to go like buy books and take courses and all that kind of stuff. But this kind of creates a challenge for me in the business because a lot of the education that I try to provide is, emphasizing the point that we can hire people to do these things, but we still have to know how to run them. We have to understand what's happening. So even if you're hiring me to get a lot of this done, during a VIP day, you still want to be able to maintain it moving forward, which is why even with a one-on-one service, I try to provide a lot of education, right? So that's something that I learned. And I actually now think I'm going to keep these VIP days around moving forward. I have a mastermind call with my small business mastermind in 2 days, and I'm going to be talking to them about the exact format and structure of these VIP days and how I want them to look. What I think I'm going to do is just offer it's just a VIP day. It's a 6-hour deep dive consultation, and it'll basically be combining the LLC in a day, tax in a day offers, or you just do one of the two. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you need, 6 hours. Probably I'm going to start by pricing it at $2,000 and offer 1 a week. So there's basically 4 slots per month. That's the game plan. If you're interested in booking one, let me know. We can get you on the calendar, but I'll be rolling that out in a few weeks. That's the game plan. So that was a good learning experience. The other thing is just kind of exploring and seeing what offers work. So if you're thinking about doing a similar challenge, you can make yours whatever you want. If you go read Rachel's book, she's probably going to tell you to set a very lofty goal for yourself, like 10K in 10 days. But if you're a brand new business owner, you're a newer business owner, and you want to set a lower revenue goal, I think that's fantastic. Kind of the idea behind this, or at least what I really got out of it, was it forces you to be creative. So, if you send out an email or you post one thing on your Instagram stories and no one's really clicking on it, no one's responding to it, then there might not be a lot of interest for that, even if you think it's the best idea you've ever had. So you try something else, doesn't really work, you try something else, and then all of a sudden you have like 20 responses. For whatever reason, that third thing is the thing that's resonating with your audience. So you try it, maybe you really like it, and before you know it, you have a whole new way to monetize your business. So that was probably the best experience I got out of this challenge. So that's what we're doing moving forward. The other idea that I had was offering a VIP day for brand new business owners. This is kind of tricky though, because a lot of brand new business owners, it's split pretty 50-50. Like if you're a new business owner, you might be coming from a full-time salary job where you've set aside money and saved in order to launch your business. In that case, you have some money to spend, most likely, and you want to expedite the process. On the other hand, I have people who start their business and they might not have had that salary job. Maybe they worked like a lower wage hourly job, totally understandable. They want to transition into a business where they can eventually grow their revenue streams a lot greater, or they're coming straight out of college, or whatever their situation is. They don't have a lot of money to spend and they need to really dig deep to get off the ground. The people in the second category, a VIP day might not be really a great option for them. So in the past, I've sold a program called Legally Launched. I call it the absolute legal and tax essentials that you need to get your new business up off the ground. And I'm going to test out the idea of doing a VIP day for that this coming week on Tuesday. So if you're interested, I would love for you to sign up. I'm hoping that we'll get at least a few people to join, but I'm capping it at 10 individuals, and you will get access to my Legally Launched course. But with this thought in mind, that me realizing people really want to get things done quickly, we're going to do it as a 4-hour VIP day as a group. So on the 4-hour call, I'm going to walk you all through my process, and you're basically going to get this course done in a half a day. Ignore the voice crack there. In a half of a day, you'll get all this stuff done. So if you're interested, check it out. Message me on social media. We can chat about it. I'll be emailing you all about it as well this week. So I hope that you check it out. So that was all I had. This episode was a little bit rambling. I didn't have a great outline. I just wanted to share with you all my experience doing the 10K in 10 days challenge. Next week, like I mentioned, we're going to dig into some credit stuff. I'm doing a little bit like of a personal money series update during this few week block here on the podcast. Lots of exciting stuff to come as well. So make sure you're subscribed so you get notified of each new episode. And I'll meet you back here on the podcast next Thursday. Have a good one.